As you think about the changes over the last decade, I'm curious if you can give me some examples or think of some ideas about specific maturity levels. For example, a decade ago, the security officers worked for me. We didn't have a chief security officer. Both tactical kind of reacting to a security incident and policy development was all just clumped together. Can you talk a little bit about how that has matured and how you approach, both operational aspects as well as policy level aspects?
Security, like many other things, is an iterative process. Over time, you continue to add elements and grow. There's no really destination because another thing too is the bad actors that continuously try to find a way to poke at our resources. So the way we have approached is the security office, after it was established, we kind of categorized the two elements of the security office into compliance office or sub-office and the security operations, so to speak, where security operations continue to do incident response and also do monitoring and to see other patterns and other things in the CSOC. And similar operations. And the compliance kind of really deals more with the governance. That's where you're talking about. We have the governance and the security operations. So in the governance, we have been working a lot to try to find something simple to digest. And luckily, there are so many cybersecurity frameworks that are available, that are freely available, that you can choose from, and then you can start small. So at the university here, we decided to use the NIST cybersecurity framework, which NIST is National Institute of Standards and Technology. It's a U.S. organization that I believe is a nonprofit, but all their materials are available to any institution or anybody around the world, basically. But there are those frameworks exist in various forms. There's NIST, as I was talking about. NIST has actually several frameworks in them, but we chose the simplest one, which is NIST Cybersecurity Framework, just in short called NIST CSF. And in NIST CSF categorizes the approach of cybersecurity framework in functions. So these assets, all the assets are divided into 5 functions: identification, protection, respond, detect, and recover. And you can see kind of, so within each of these functions, there are some subcategories. In the protection, there will be access control, for example. You need to be able to have a mechanism to control who has access to your information, right? So that's access control. So all of these are categorization. And the approach we have taken is just pick up these main functions and pick up smaller element categories and start small to implement some of these things. As you say, again, most of the time when you have assets, the most important critical part, first stage, is to identify your systems, documenting your systems and other things. Now, once you document them, we spoke a little bit about the data classification. Once you have identified your assets, then you can look what kind of information do they process. Then you can classify them, you can follow the data classification policy, then be able to apply those controls that for us, we are using the CSF controls. And there are, the CSF has about, depending on which level, there are about 120 controls. But there are even more when you go to a different NIST framework. In fact, the one we use mostly too is the actual control elements are in the NIST 853 that kind of goes and gives more flavor. But we picked up a few of those we're starting to implement, and as we continue to mature, we'll add some more. For example, in the Protect family, for example, we've implemented the multi-factor authentication.